Good morning, my Teaserking family. How is everybody? Our free pick and our lock was Kansas yesterday, which won. It shouldn't have been that close. I was a little surprised. They had a 31-28 lead late in the fourth, and Missouri got a touchdown, and then they're just running the ball out, and the guys went 65 yards. But we had 12 and a half. They lost by 11. So we got the winner with Kansas. It was also a lock going with today's game. I have 3 locks going today if you're interested. I killed yesterday. I hit everything. The only loser I had was Western Kentucky getting 13 from Toledo, which I was surprised. We hit SMU Baylor over. We hit Virginia against NC State. We hit UTSA, Texas State over. GBet, for some reason, she took Texas State or UTSA, but the play was over. Kansas is our lock and our free pick, getting 12 and a half. Let's see. Western Kentucky plus 13 was a loser. USC laying 27 and a half. They won by 40. Michigan getting 11 and a half. We got lucky at the end. They held them to a field goal. I don't know. That quarterback doesn't look good. The play calling was terrible. They kept throwing these little wide receiver screens, and Oklahoma was right there. You got to fake those. You can't – if they figured it out, you can't keep running the same play for nothing. I thought the kid could run. He can't. Very disappointed in the kid. He made Oklahoma look better than they are. But we got the win. Vanderbilt, as a dog, Dagiopava, and they killed Virginia Tech, won by like 30. And our last one was BYU minus 18 down to 12. And BYU wins easy. Now, the other games that we sort of liked. Just a second. Just a second. Just a second. David, hello. It's raining at the Raiders games. That's fine. Not a problem. It won't affect us. All right. So, what did we go? We went 1-0, 2-0, 3-0, 4-0, 4-1, and 5-1, and 6-1, and 7-1, and 8-1. So an 8-1 day. So we're 19-2 off the get go. Not too bad. All right. So 8-1. Now the other games that I like but didn't play would include Illinois Duke over, because I looked at Duke and they put up all these yards. So I thought that would go over 43, and it did. Ohio, West Virginia, I like the over in that game. It's 17-10. Ohio won. I was shocked. Florida, South Florida, I like the over in that game, and it didn't get there. I was kind of shocked by that, but now South Florida has beaten Boise and Florida. Yeah, we'll be keeping an eye on South Florida. What a good team. I like the over in the Arizona State Old Mississippi State game, and I like Nebraska to kill Akron, and they did. Alabama showed up. I like the over in the UCLA. No, I like Vegas in the UCLA Vegas game, and that was it. So a few interesting plays. All right. Sorry about that. Have to take care of Daria. All right. So I love the over. Baylor SMU is we're just gonna bet Baylor over every week. I did pick the Iowa State game. I thought they'd win, and I thought it'd be close, and I thought it would be over. So I was right all three times. Syracuse, UConn. I liked UConn, but I didn't play it. Indiana, I thought would kill Tennessee State. Laying, I thought 35 was high. UAB, I thought would stay with Navy, and they did. As we're seeing, the team Oregon just killed Oklahoma State. I thought that North Texas, I thought would be Western a little bit more. I don't think they covered there. Colorado had 3 quarterbacks against Delaware. Rutgers is scoring more than they ever have. Oregon State, Fresno State. Fresno State beats them. So Fresno State, so, that's why I like Kansas. I'm shocked Kansas lost. They're up 21-6. Then they're up 24-21. And then Missouri kept scoring. And then it was 31-28 Kansas. I said, oh, okay, it's over. And then 35-31 Missouri. And then they were just running the clock out, and the guy ran. But they only won by 11, and we were getting 12.5, so that worked out fine. Ole Miss struggled at Kentucky, as we thought. Clemson, they suck. Holy shit. Wisconsin lit up Middle Tennessee. Yeah, Middle Tennessee's pretty bad. Old Missouri State beat Marshall, which I couldn't believe it was 10-point favorites over anybody, but we weren't sure with Missouri State because they played USC and got killed. But I thought they did beat Marshall. Marshall, we're just going to bet against them. Army beats Kansas State, my Army team. They switched quarterbacks and played pretty well. Tulane, South Alabama, very good game. South Alabama covers. North Carolina stinks. They have no offense and just very, very good for the Belichick defense, I guess, but it was Charlotte who's terrible. Bobby, LSU flat after the big win, Lane 37, and they scored like 20 to L Tech. So we don't know how good L Tech is. This is the problem with college ball. You don't know how good they are, and you don't know how bad the other team is. So you're getting a feel. USC, I knew would kill Georgia Southern. Georgia Southern got killed by Fresno State, and USC, with a good quarterback, will score a lot. See, this is a team you can lay. This is only 27. This is a joke. I only had late 21. I'm sure I had it by halftime. Auburn didn't cover with Ball State, but was close. Michigan State beats Boston College. I don't know. I don't like the coach or the quarterback at Michigan State. Michigan, Oklahoma. What is up with underwear? He looked terrible. Couldn't read a defense. Couldn't read a blitz. Oklahoma just blitzed every time. They didn't want to make a big deal about how good they are against a freshman quarterback. Batir, he's okay. They ran him way too much. They don't understand. You get hurt running a quarterback. So he's running. And he's, I don't know. Some of the play calls were terrible. I don't like his mullet. He throws sidearm. I've never seen a pro quarterback throw sidearm. You get a few Peyton Manning throwing sidearm once a game. This guy throws sidearm every throw. There's no running attack at Oklahoma. They got lucky they were playing Michigan, but they don't have a prayer against Texas, Georgia. I don't know what to think with Alabama. Now they got 73 points. Maybe they found something. Where was this against Florida State? So we'll see. UCLA is not very good. The volleyball player needs to go back to volleyball, but Vegas is pretty good. I felt that they were a home dog. I thought that was a pretty good play there. And then Sam Houston, Hawaii played like a 10-7 game. Am I surprised South Florida beat Florida? Not really. South Florida beat Boise. You got to understand that, right? For them to beat Boise, they're a good team because Boise's not bad. Texas over to San Jose State. They're making a big deal that Arch Manning threw a touchdown pass. It's like, relax, guys. It was San Jose State. Again, they overemphasize when they're like Ohio State puts up 70. They're playing fucking Grambling. If they don't win 70 to nothing, it's pathetic. But they don't. They just promote it. It's all promotion now. Nobody's sitting there going, well, it was only Grambling. It was a Division II team. It was a high school team. And they beat them. Oh, look how good. Look at Arch Manning. He should win the Heisman now. He threw 4 touchdown passes against San Jose State. Yeah, where was he against Ohio State? Oh, yeah. Didn't show up. So, you know, you had to be careful there. Anyway, another big day. So I'm 19-2 in 2 weeks. And, you know, I avoided I liked the Duke over. That was a winner. I avoided what did I avoid? Ohio, West Virginia, I liked over. I avoided that one. That was a loss. South Florida over. I avoided that. I think it was 16-15 or something like that. They didn't get into the 50s. I missed Missouri State. That was a winner. Arizona State, Mississippi State, I liked it over. I think it was pretty close to the over. I might have went over. I liked BC against Michigan State. Didn't have faith. I liked Nebraska to kill Akron. I just didn't think they could score that many points. Alabama, I wasn't sure on. The bounce back. Vegas, I liked UCLA. So you can't play everything. I did play BYU, and they crushed. You can't play everything. And so you try to eliminate the iffy games. You know, can we trust Nebraska? I knew they were going to shut out. I mean, it was easy to say the shutout of Akron, but then how many points are you going to score? And they did put up a lot. That's when they really feast, is when they get that weak team and they go at it and they win big. All right. So let's go to NFL and we'll come back to college. And we can start looking at next week. NFL, I have 3 locks going today. We hit Philly. That was our free play. Philly -1. They win 24-20. KC San Diego, we play it under because the line jumped to 3, and I didn't want to take KC +3. And I was right. And it was under, I think it was 46.5. So it was 52.5. And it was 27-21. So we're already 2-0 in the pros. And now we come today. So let's look at our odds. Pittsburgh, 337.5 to the JETSs. We've got Pitt. We don't know what they are because Rodgers, and then they added the running back from Iowa, and then they got DK Metcalf. So you got a whole new offense for Pitt, and you still have the killer defense. The Jets, they go to Fields. They were a Z team last year with Aaron Rodgers. They're not going to be any better with Fields. They better have a good backup because if they're going to play Fields 17 games, they're going to go 0-17. He's terrible. He can't make the basic throws. He certainly can't read a defense, and he wants to run. He ain't running on Pittsburgh. They know what he does. So, you know, we'll get an idea of Rodgers with DK Metcalf. I would think they'd have a decent game. And the Jets, I don't like the coach, so I don't know. But I'll be shocked if the JETSs win this game. Indy 1.5, 47.5 to Miami. Both teams stink. Why is Daniel Jones playing? Why is he in the league? At what point do you think he's a good quarterback? David, thanks for your great insight. You're welcome. Yeah, I know. That's why I've been doing it for 35 years because you see me analyze gold. I learn how to pick. I don't just guess, and I don't just do that. So if you learn what to look for, that's what separates me from all these other people. I know what's important, what to look at, and what to bet on. And I can tell you that this quarterback's good and this one stinks. I can tell you Daniel Jones stinks. I can tell you Cam Ward stinks. And Joe Burrow's great, and Mahomes and Lamar's not very good. But I can tell you that most people can't. And that's what separates me from the rest of these guys. But thank you, David. I appreciate that. So how can Indy be favored with Daniel Jones? I mean, seriously, at what point has he turned into a good quarterback? And it's not something you just get better at. He was never good in college. He was never good at the Giants. And how is he going to be good on this team? I don't understand it. I could understand Riley Leonard and their best quarterbacks being from Kansas. Bean should be the starter, and Riley Leonard should be the backup, and the other two guys you kick off because they're terrible. Oh, they have experience. Oh, yeah, they're terrible with experience. They're terrible, but they have experience. What is that? Since when does that matter? I don't know. I couldn't never play Daniel Jones to win a game. That's ridiculous. The Z team of the day, Carolina, Jacksonville. Jacksonville's up to 4.5, 45.5. I don't know who's worse here. They both suck. Both Z teams, terrible. Carolina with the 31 defense, Jacksonville 26. And it's Steve Young against Trevor Lawrence. They both suck. People are like, oh, yeah, Steve Young, he got better last year. Bullshit. Last few games, they finally started throwing the ball down the field, and he completed a pass. Oh, he's an NFL quarterback. He stinks. He's like Mac Jones. Like, oh, yeah, like he's going to get better. And that's the problem with it. So the only reason one of these teams is going to win is they're playing each other. Jacksonville won't win again. Carolina, they'll only win if they play New Orleans, who they played twice. They have no chance against Atlanta and Tampa. And unless they play, who's the other shit team? New Orleans, Indy, Tennessee. I mean, there's like 6 or 7 Z teams that are just horrible. And then you have 6 or 7 really good teams. And then the rest of the league kind of is shitty. So I don't know. They think parity is good. Parity sucks. You want excellence. You don't want parity. All right. Washington 645.5 to the New York Giants. Giants were a Z team last year. They got Russell Wilson. They got Danny DeVito, and then they got Scatterboo in the draft. Their top running back, and then they got Malik Neighbors, their wide receiver from LSU, one of Bobby's boys. So you have a much better team with what you have. I don't know how good their defense is. We'll see. Nobody's stopping Daniels. He's just too shifty. I mean, he beat Philly once and almost beat him the second time. They'll probably be an over team. I mean, you got Daniels, you got great running, and McLaurin, I knew he would sign. All the bums who sat out are playing. Take your $20 million and be happy. I want to make $25 million. Oh, fuck off. So, what should be a good game. Yeah, definitely with Russell Wilson will make the Giants a lot better. And Scatterboo, it'll be balanced offense. Cincinnati's now 4.5, 47.5 to Cleveland. I don't know why this line would move down. Joe Burrow played in the preseason. He's going to come right out. He's not going to, get. They're not losing to Cleveland. He's going to come out and smoke them. And Cleveland's got Flacco. Flacco's 41 years old, but he's never really been any good. Didn't he have that one game against Denver for Baltimore in the playoffs? Um, I don't know. He's just old. Cincinnati, yeah, weak defense, maybe. Did did Hendrickson sign? Probably. I don't know. But everybody's treating Cincinnati like their defense sucks. It's not. It doesn't. It's not terrible. And you got Joe Burrow, but Cleveland, Flacco. I don't know. Nick Chubb's gone. Not much of a running attack, and they both had 26 defenses last year. So I don't know. I'll take Joe Burrow over Joe Flacco all day. New England 2.5, 44.5. We got Geno Smith and Coach Pete and the other guy, the offensive coordinator. I can't think from Ohio State. Chip Kelly. So they got Chip Kelly against New England and Drake May. Seriously? Smith's much better than May. Vrabel's good. He'll probably get a better defensive effort, probably better at coaching the team. Both had 25 defenses last year. Both were Z teams last year. The rain doesn't matter. This pro football. This Oakland should win this game. New England, I don't buy Drake May, and I don't buy they're not stupid. They're not going to let him run, but he can't really pass too well. Arizona 644.5 to New Orleans, both with 22 defenses. Kyler Murray against Spencer Rattler. I'm shocked Spencer Rattler's in the league and that he's actually starting. I don't know what Kellen Moore is thinking, the new coach. Tampa Bay 1.5, 47.5 to Atlanta. I think there was some 2.5s. 1.5, pick 1.5. There was last night. There was some 2s. Dead even game. Mike Evans is out for Tampa. And Atlanta gets Penix, and they get the 2 edge rushers from Georgia and Tennessee. They've got the Bijan Robinson and the receiver. Their only problem is their coach has his head up his ass. But Penix against Baker, this should be a very good game. Tennessee goes to Denver. Denver 8.5, 42.5. Cam Ward against Bo Nix, not even close. Bo Nix 100 times better. Cam Ward's not good. They did a kind of a trick offense at Miami, but they're not doing that in the pros. Cam Ward should have played in the preseason every game. That's a huge mistake. He has no experience. Denver's very good defensively at Mile High, and Cam Ward, is he going to be Washington State Cam Ward? I was watching a game yesterday, the Oklahoma game, and they're making a big deal about Mateer, the quarterback, and the offensive coordinator, saying how just 5 years ago he was an offensive coordinator in high school, and look how quickly, and he had Cam Ward. Cam Ward sucked at Washington State. What are you talking about? So they're trying to make it like he's this guru, and I'm like, I'm not seeing it. Like I said, it was just Mateer running a lot. They had no run offense, and he threw every pass sidearm. It was a tricky offense. They will score a lot of points against weaker teams. Against the Georgia, and Texas ain't going to do shit because it's all Mateer. He won't last a year. He'll get injured. He wasn't that great last year, and I'm not buying this offensive coordinators. It's Chip Kelly. No. He was in high school a few years ago. He's not it. So I don't buy that. Oh, he made Cam Ward. Yeah. Just like the New England guy, they Tom Brady. Yeah, sure he did. So look for Denver at home. Cam Ward's first start. Frisco 1.5, 43.5. Now, what the hell is going on with McCaffrey. He's fine. He's fine. Now he's got a calf problem all of a sudden, or is this bullshit? I don't know. If everything's healthy, Purdy against Darnold, again, just blitz Darnold and he chokes, as he showed in the Lion game and in the playoff game. He's a backup. He's not. He had Justin Jefferson last year, but he wasn't good enough for Minnesota to sign him this year. That's got to tell you a lot. Minnesota goes to J.J. McCarthy, who's never played in the pros, wasn't that good in college. Everybody's trying to say how good he is. Oh, it's J.J. McCarthy. What did he do? No, he won a national something. No, he didn't. He handed the ball off, and they got 4 running touchdowns of 40 yards. McCaffrey did nothing in the game, did nothing against Ohio State. He's hurt a lot. He'll never last the season. So I don't know why, it tells you something about Darnold. If he was that good, he would have, if he was that good, they would have signed him, right? Why would you go with J.J. McCarthy, a guy that's never played, didn't play much at Michigan, didn't show anything at Michigan? He runs a little bit, but he always gets injured on it. So what's he going to do? Well, we'll get to Minnesota in a minute, but I don't know. I'm very baffled that Seattle gets rid of Geno Smith. Well, that was a Coach Pete thing. He wanted his quarterback, but Darnold, so I don't know. Purdy's there. They need receivers, so we'll see. The Niners are a little banged up. They're not like the Super Bowl team that we saw 2 years ago, but they can be pretty good. And if McCaffrey played, so we'll see. If he plays, then that's fine. Green Bay back to 1.5, 47.5. Let's see if there's any twosies. Yeah, 1.5, 2, 1.5, and a couple of twos. And the totals, I think, were all 47.5. There's a 48, 47.5. Yeah. This is a confusing game. You've got Micah Parsons, but his back's bothering him. So maybe Jerry Jones actually knew what he was doing by trading him, because his back's probably shot. And if he's got to take shots every game for his back, how long is that going to last him? I watched North Dallas 40. So I don't know what's going on here. I don't know. Is Hutchinson even playing? Can he play? Broke his leg, and everybody's, oh yeah, he's fine. It was only 10 months ago. So I'm very suspicious that Hutchinson plays, and how many plays he plays, and is it just going to be on third down? They're going to go after his leg, and I don't blame them. I would too. I'd test it out. Oh, you ready to go? You ready to play? Okay, let's see it. Like I said, I watched Dick Butkus kill a guy on the Lions in the 60s. So, we'll see. Green Bay, Jordan Love's not that good anymore. Well, he never was. Detroit, Goff's a choke. They got good running. They got good receivers. Really weak on the defensive side of the ball. They got good safeties, I guess. And corners suck. And the linebacking, I don't know. Guy from Iowa and a guy with the blonde hair. We'll see. Green Bay should be able to move the ball on them. And Detroit, who knows? You've got a new offensive and defensive coordinator, and everybody's just acting like, well, that's nothing. No, not a problem. They won't miss a beat from last year. What, are you kidding me? It's not, you can just replace it. It's not that everybody can just walk in and be the offensive and defensive coordinator. Oh, he was on the staff last year. He'll run this. Bullshit. You cannot just, it's not just replace, it's not next man up. We have different skill sets, and you can't just bring in somebody else. So this is a very interesting game. Is Detroit a live dog? I don't know. Is Hutchinson play? I doubt it. Is Golf going to choke? Probably. Green Bay, Love. You got Micah Parsons. Is he playing? You haven't seen any action on these idiots in the preseason. So this is like the first preseason game as far as I'm concerned. Look out for a lot of hamstring pulls, a lot of calf pulls, a lot of foot problems, a lot of leg problems. These guys are not in shape and not ready to go, and I don't want to hear that they're in shape. You cannot practice in shape. You have to play in shape. Look at hockey. You can skate around the rink, but until you get on the ice in a game, then you're ready to play. The Rams, 43.5. You got Stafford against Stroud. I don't like him. 22 defense last year for Houston. The Rams 23. I like Houston's defense. That's definitely good. The receivers are out. There's a couple of receivers missing. The Rams, Pukanuka, which we love, and Devontae Adams, Fresno State. And you've got Stafford, who looks okay, but even if they got to go to Stenson Benson, he looked great in the preseason. Good running, good defense for the Rams. So this should be a very good game. I think this will be a very close game. Baltimore, 1.5, 50.5. I don't know why Baltimore is favored in Buffalo. Buffalo's very good at home. A couple of injuries, but I don't see them today. We'll go to the injuries in a minute. Lamar against Allen, it's not close. Allen's much better than Lamar. 21 defense, Baltimore, 22 for Buffalo. Again, it's the first game. Neither played in the preseason, so they'll both be rusty. Josh Allen likes to run a lot. I don't know why. Lamar can't throw a pass to save his life. Both A teams, now you got Buffalo as a home dog. I'm scratching my head over that one. Byline is Buffalo -3, and I wouldn't change it. Let's see if it gives us any type of injuries. They were worried about Shakur and those guys. Let's see, Buffalo injuries. Cornerback out, and Keenan Coleman is questionable with a groin. Baltimore injuries. Isaiah Likely, the tight end's out. Isaiah Likely's out again. And Isaiah Likely's out 3 times. I don't know what they're doing. Last year's game was 27-25 Buffalo in the playoff game. And we had a 35-10 game in Baltimore. In Buffalo won 17-13. Baltimore won 24-17. That goes back a while. So I don't know. I mean, I think Buffalo's very live dog at home. They were 17-3 with the number, and Baltimore was 16-3 in a teaser number. So that's what we got. And then Minnesota goes to the Bears. I mean, there's no quarterback on the field. The best quarterback's Badgett, but they're not smart enough to start him because they got their heads up their ass because they fucked the draft on Caleb, who's terrible. And instead of realizing Badgett's better, they're going, well, no, we'll do what we did with Fields and Mitch Trubisky and all these. And who's the guy from Vanderbilt, Jay Cutler. We'll just keep drafting bad quarterbacks, but we won't realize we made a mistake for 5 years. So they finally let Cutler go, and they finally let Fields go, and he sucks, and whoever was before him. And again, they've done it again with Caleb. I mean, they could have easily had Daniels. How could you not take Daniels over? If you're that stupid that you like Caleb over Daniels, you shouldn't be a GM of a team, or you shouldn't be in pro football because you're idiots. So I don't know. The Vikings, Bears, both strong defenses, both 21 defenses, no quarterback. What does this remind us of? The Ohio State Texas game. Two strong defenses and no quarterbacks. And I think that's kind of what you have here. JJ McCarthy is not good at all. There's nothing that shows he's good. He played against Georgia a few years ago in a playoff game and he got crushed. Um, Played a little bit here and there and he kept getting injured, throwing turnovers. Caleb, we've already seen he couldn't win with Lincoln Riley and Cliff Kingsbury his senior year. Oh, all of a sudden, Ben Johnson. Who the hell is Ben Johnson? That great game plan against Washington. Very, very, I don't know. Now he's the head coach, or is he still the offensive coordinator? Do they not have a head coach? Is he going to call the plays? Is he, good luck with Caleb. They don't have the running that the Lions had. They don't have the receivers, though. They have DJ Moore, I think, is it. But they have a great defense. So is he going to be smart? All these little tricky running plays won't work here, and all these little misdirection, play action pass. Caleb can't even. Caleb just dances around to avoid getting sacked. Not very good. So we will see, but I'm not buying JJ McCarthy's any good or Caleb. Now, if JJ McCarthy can light up the Bears defense, I'll believe it. But if this game gets more than, if he scores more than 10 points in the game, I'll be shocked. All right. All right. So let's check injuries real quick. I did early this morning, but they come around. It's 11:18. The game started at 1. So if you notice, I should have been on 10 to 12 yesterday, but I had to help my friend out, so I came on early. Fortunately, it's a video, so you can watch it. And then normally it'll be 10 to 12 Saturday and 11 to 1 because these games don't start till 1. So let's see. Let's just look for key injuries. Anything new that popped up. And again, we've had 2 games already. And I'm just looking like the outs. I'm not looking these questionable and the guy needs rest. Well, I don't care. That's not an injury. So Willie Hernandez is out with the knee for Arizona, a guard. Who cares? A guard for Atlanta is out. A safety has a hamstring. And if we don't know the name, are they starters? Who knows? Baltimore likely is out, and the fullback's out. Okay, does that matter? No. It's as long as Lamar plays. Buffalo, the kicker's out with the hip, the cornerback's doubtful with the groin, and that's it. And Keenan Coleman's injured with the groin, and they don't even Shakir injured with an ankle, but this is like it says if he's doubtful or see there's out, doubtful, and then Shakir's injured. The injured, I take it as they're playing because they're not doubtful and they're not out. It is a big game, so I'm sure Shakir will play. Carolina cornerback out, an offensive tackle, doubtful. The Bears, linebacker Edwards is doubtful with the hamstring. Nothing major. Cincinnati's fine. Cleveland, defensive line out with the knee. Dallas, well, we already know. Denver, defensive line out with the calf. Linebacker Greenlaw from the Niners is already out with the quad, and Atkins, tight end, out with an ankle. Nothing too bad. I mean, as long as Bo Nix or Lamar or Allen are playing, the injuries are really secondary. Detroit offensive tackle out, never heard of him. A linebacker, never heard of, out with an elbow, and a running back out with a hamstring. So no big injuries. Green Bay, nothing, just questionables. Houston, Now, here's where I said Kirk and Berrios, the wide receivers, are out with the hamstring. So that's got to hurt. I mean, CJ Shaw's not good anyway, but now with especially Kirk, I've heard of. Berrios, I think he came over from another team, but so they'll play, run the ball, play the defense, play the strength. I don't know if the coaches are smart enough to do that. You get this killer defense and they want to throw interceptions. It's like, yeah, what are you doing? Well, we don't care. We're not going to play to our strength. We're idiots. Jacksonville, a cornerback out and a guard out. Who cares? Trevor Lawrence sucks. KC, did we lose anybody? Royals, a wide receiver, got hurt. Never heard of him. The Rams, they're good to go. Everybody's healthy, it looks like. Oakland. Kenny Pickett, what is he doing on the Raiders? What are you doing, man? He sucks. But Aiden O'Connell should never be your backup. He's terrible. Don't you watch when he plays at Purdue that he sucked? 10 touchdowns, 20 interceptions. Yeah, let's draft him. He'll do good. Miami, cornerback out, tight end Waller out. Used to be on the Raiders. Jay Wright, running back, out with the knee. So a few injuries, but nothing. Again, this is Miami. So again, Tagovailoa and Tyreek Hill are all you care about. Minnesota, Zach Scott, running back, never heard of him, out with an ankle. Harrison Smith, I've heard of, doubtful with an illness. And defensive lineman E. Williams out with the hamstring. The Giants, offensive tackle, doubtful with the foot. Who cares? The JETS is Tyrod Taylor injured with the knee. Pohl out with the knee. So you have Tyrod Taylor and you're going to start Fields. Oh, my God. This coach I really don't like. I think he's an idiot. So Pohl, offensive tackle, out. Offensive guard, out. All right. And you're going against the Steelers. All right. Thank you. New England, cornerback out. Cornerback out. So 2 cornerbacks are out for New England. And they play. Who do they play? Oakland. So Oakland. So Brock Bowers should have a real big day with 2 cornerbacks out. New Orleans, Young out with the calf, defensive lineman, a guard out, a lot of lineman injuries. Eagles, nothing. Steelers, defensive lineman Harmon out with the knee. I never heard of him. The Niners, now they got McCaffrey questionable with the calf, but not out with the calf. So we will see. Jay James, running back, never heard of, doubtful with the finger. And Jay Jackins, wide receiver, doubtful with an ankle. Seattle, Jay Bobo, wide receiver. I think he's from Georgia, out with a concussion. A linebacker is out with the knee. Another wide receiver, D. Young, out with the hamstring. But they traded they got rid of Metcalf and Lockett. I don't know what they're doing. Tampa Bay, Godwin's out with an ankle, we knew. Eisen, the safety's out. Wirfs, the tackle, I think he's all pro, is out with the knee. And Morrison, the cornerback, is out. So they got some big injuries, Tampa Bay. Tennessee, a safety, has a hamstring already. And Washington, Washington's fine. Injured, INR rest. What does that mean? Zach Ertz needs a rest. Okay. But nothing. They're healthy. So there's really no injuries to worry about. I won't get into college. Let's go. So I got 3 locks out of this. And 8-1 yesterday in college. So 19-2. I've been good at laying off some games that I thought to play and didn't. So I've been playing the right games, and if I see some stuff, I get out of it. Hey, G. You confused me, G. I gave you the lock Kansas, and then you played that big teaser. Didn't you play a 2-team teaser or 3-team teaser with the lock and the 3 locks today? I don't know. I mean, you gotta make you can't just bet 10-team teasers and hope to hit them. You can do that small, but you gotta play like the locks as a 2 or 3-team teaser, all 4 locks, and you could play them, for a little bit of money, but you gotta, at least play that strong 2-team teaser. Uh, you know, yeah, but I only put on 1 ticket. Okay. Well, just try to at least play the locks, like play it the way I play it. I got them in 2-team. I usually play my locks in 2-team teasers. And then let's say I play them for 500, then I might play a 7 or 8-team teaser for $20, $30. I mean, they're obviously hard to hit, and I don't want to risk too much. Yeah, I'm playing the locks today. Okay, good. Um, I mean, I like all 3 very much. Um, I think they should come in. They're playing pretty weak teams. Then I think they're should be good. And I did play Minnesota, Chicago. I played most of the games, but I've already won the first 2. Philly, I thought about locking Philly, but it's always week 1. But the games that I've locked, I like a lot. All right, so that's the NFL. Let's go to the college. Let's go to week 3, and let's just see what we can pick apart here. North Carolina 7.5 over Wake Forest. I don't know. Oh, no, this is North Carolina State. I can tell by the mascot. So this is North Carolina State's mascot. North Carolina's is blue. I don't know. NC State. No, they beat my Virginia team. They picked off a pass in the end zone, but we had Virginia and the points. And my Daggio Pavel comes through again. They were losing 17-7 to Virginia Tech, and I see the final. They won 34-20 or something. I was like, there you go. Houston 3 over Colorado. Should be good. Colorado played 3 quarterbacks. Salter, the one we thought was going to be the starter, played. They brought in the other guy, and then they brought in their 3rd stringer, and he lit it up. So we'll see. Again, they played nobody. Colorado played Delaware, who used to be Division II, so I wouldn't take it too much, but they're going to struggle against Houston. UCLA 14.5 over New Mexico. UCLA can't beat anybody by 14.5. Oklahoma goes to Temple. That's going to be trouble for Oklahoma. Temple's a much better team this year. Temple lit it up yesterday. Oregon 28 over Northwestern. I don't know how good Dante Moore is. We'll have to see in this game. Central Michigan goes to Michigan. Central Michigan. They won at San Jose State, and then yesterday they lost to Pitt pretty big. Michigan, I don't know. The quarterback I'm not impressed with yet. Is he any good? He certainly didn't run enough. He seems to make some good throws, but his decision making is terrible. It's like Josh Allen. He couldn't read a blitz, so he has a big arm, but what team is he going to throw to? He's gotten a little better reading the blitz, but this guy, this freshman, I don't know. We'll have to see. Clemson, there's our first pick. Clemson 6.5 over my Georgia Tech at Georgia Tech. And the way Clemson looks, yeah, Georgia Tech beat them straight out. Oh, I love that. Haynes King. Wisconsin, Alabama. Ooh. And I saw Tyler Van Dyke's on SMU. He's out with the knee, but he's on SMU. Alabama 19.5 over Wisconsin. Which Alabama team's going to show up? The one that couldn't show up against Florida State, or the one that showed up yesterday against Lou Monroe, the powerhouse? They put up 70, but this is the problem. This is what you have to understand. There's so many different variables in college because they could play the Lou Monroe or the high school team. But when they go up against Florida State, they're a different team. And here you got them against Wisconsin. I don't know. Are they strong enough to win? I not this year's team. Samford against Baylor. Unfortunately, we can't go over with Baylor again. Otherwise, we're going over with Baylor every week. Kansas looks like an over again, as or Missouri must be one hell of a team because they lit them up. Auburn, South Alabama. This should be a 100-point game. UConn at Delaware. UConn. I liked UConn against Syracuse. They have a good quarterback, and they lost by 7. I think they're getting 7. Yeah, they were down. They were -7, and they lost by 7. That's like 24-17. But the UConn's not a Z team, and that's what you got to understand when you rank the teams, how it changes. Georgia 7 over Tennessee. Interesting. At Tennessee, you got Joey Aguilar. Good luck, Joey, against my Georgia team, who's going to be tough. Oof. This is the type of game Georgia usually just the defense goes crazy and they just shut you down. You can't even get a first down in the game. Let's see. Oregon State, Texas Tech. Texas Tech put up 80 points yesterday against the high school team, and this time they get Oregon State, who doesn't look good. They lost to Fresno State, I believe. Fresno State got them at the end. Yeah, Fresno State kicked a field goal, which looked like it was going to win. And then all of a sudden, Fresno State won by like 8 or 9. And you're like, no, there was like 10 seconds left. They kicked the field goal. So they must have fucked around with the fumbles or something. You know, the laterals that never work, but they're going to try them anyway. I love that lateral play. It worked once for Stanford Cal on the kickoff with 9 option quarterbacks out there, mind you. That's not what they do now, and it never has worked again. It worked once in a million because it was a surprise, and now you're trying, we'll lateral it because that always works. I mean, Jesus. So we will see. USC goes to Purdue. Yeah, USC is going to kill them. SMU goes to Missouri State now that we got a little flavor with Missouri State. And SMU blew a 14-point lead late to my Baylor team. I had the game over, but I was happy Baylor won. Let's see. Look at the Richmond logo. I like that. I want to bet on Richmond just because they're the Spiders. North Carolina. See, you can see North Carolina blue. Richmond will probably beat them. Let's see who else we got. Lou Lafayette goes to Missouri. This Missouri team, I mean, it's impressive because Kansas has a very good defense, and they just the quarterback's great. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. Iowa State goes to Arkansas State. Go Iowa State. UTEP goes to Texas. Arch Manning's going to have another big game against the high school team here. UTEP's terrible. So Arch Manning had a big day against the high school team. Oh, my God. Miami 16.5 over South Florida. Oh, my God. South Florida has beaten Boise and beaten Florida, and now they get Miami. And they're getting 16.5 points. Thank you, God. Are you kidding me? 16.5. They just won at Florida and beat Boise. And who's Miami? Miami's nothing. Carson Beck's good, Georgia quarterback, but South Florida, if they win this one, they should be ranked. Okay, you beat a good Boise team. You won at Florida, and now you're going to win at Miami. Let's see. App State against Southern Miss. Southern Miss is a live dog in this game, but I don't have a spread yet. Ole Miss 10 over Arkansas. I'm not sure about that. Ole Miss, they had a tough game with Kentucky, as I told you. You got to be careful, SEC. They are at home. Arkansas, we'll see. I don't know. Is Ole Miss all that? Again, they beat a Division II team by 70, and you think that's what they're going to do every week, and it's not. I don't know. Arkansas is probably live dog. Ohio goes against Ohio State, and you think, oh, this is easy. Except for Ohio just beat West Virginia at home. And I don't remember who they played week 1. They played Rutgers, I think. Yeah, they lost 34-31 to Rutgers. And now they beat West Virginia. And here they go to Ohio State. And Ohio State's got a very weak quarterback. Oh, he looked good against Grambling. Oh, yeah, that's it. But he sucked against Texas. So Ohio will come to play. We'll see. Western Michigan goes to Illinois. Illinois probably smoke them. Florida LSU. Bobby, you listening? LSU is a 7:30 game. Death Valley at night on a Saturday night. LSU 9.5, 52.5 to Florida, who just got beat by South Florida. LSU. Oof, I wouldn't want to bet against LSU here. I'm not buying Florida's all great. Notre Dame 6.5 to Texas A&M again. They played last year, so this is like a home and home, and this is at Notre Dame. Notre Dame got their ass kicked by Miami. A&M got the good quarterback, but I don't know what else they got. We'll see. UMass goes to Iowa. UMass, the worst team in college football. Thank you. South Carolina 7.5 over Vanderbilt. We get Dagiopava and 13.5. Unbelievable. Thank you. How do they undervalue Dagiopavio so much? South Carolina 7.5. It's funny. It says it started at 8.5. When did it start? Right after the game yesterday. 7.5. Thank you. Navy goes to Tulsa. Tulane, a good team, plays Duke, a good team. Tulane's favored by 2.5. Oh, this could be our lock. Utah, Wyoming. We don't have a spread on it. Hopefully it's under 30. Utah won again by 70 yesterday. Devin Dampier, he's the best quarterback. Utah, it says Utah's a 25th rated team. Utah's number 1. Strong defense. The best quarterback in college, behind Dagiopava and my guy from Virginia from North Texas. Utah's not a 25 team. They're in the top 5. And Wyoming sucks. Now here's what I hate. TCU, we want to bet them over, plays Abilene Christian. We can't bet them over. The Air Force goes against Utah State. Interesting. Texas State against Arizona State. I promise you this will be over. Texas State's got a great coach, and they just score. They score and they score. Arizona State, I don't know, love it. They don't have Scatterboo. We will see. Minnesota goes to Cal. Minnesota's favorite over Cal, 2.5. BC goes to Stanford. Stanford stinks. And Portland State and Hawaii. So there's some good, interesting games for next week. So my job now is to take the stats from yesterday and I upload it in my spreadsheet. and I'd come up and grade the teams. So it's a little bit hard because week one with the high school teams, you can't really do much because you gotta most of that data you got to throw out because it doesn't mean anything. Uh, and then we got the same thing in week two when a lot of teams played high school teams. So you got to kind of who did they beat so you know how to really grade the team. But at least we have quarterback play. We have offenses. Are they rushing or passing offenses? I did a thing where I went through the balanced teams. So if we look at this, so who are the balanced teams? So for example, Connecticut's a balanced team. Texas State, Ohio, San Diego State, Vegas, Fresno State. Funny how all those teams are winning, right? UAB, Memphis, Temple, Tulsa, Louisville, USC, Oregon, Illinois, Washington, Michigan, and Indiana. And the only team out of that Big Ten to not win was Michigan. And in the Big 12, especially BYU won. Texas Tech put up 70. West Virginia lost to Ohio. Utah 70 again. Kansas covered against Old Missouri. Arizona State, and then TCU. So we'll see if it holds if we get new ones because, like Texas, Ohio State, you're not going to get much yardage or points. But then we saw Texas against a weak team, and Arch Manning's now the greatest quarterback that ever played because how he played against San Jose State, unbelievable. So here you start seeing it. But that's what we're looking for. So I'll break all that down today. I'll do it while I'm watching the games. Pros, we'll run through it one more time. Let's look at the line. It's almost 12. So Pitt, 3, 37.5. Indy, 1.5, 47.5. Jacksonville, 4.5, 45.5. Washington, 6, 45.5. Cincinnati, 5.5, 47.5. New England, 2.5, 44.5. Arizona, 6, 44.5. Tampa, 1.5, 47. I really don't understand this line. My line is Atlanta's a 3-point favorite. I don't know how Tampa's favored in this game. Oh, well, we don't know how good Michael Penix is because we didn't watch him in college win all those big games, I guess. Denver, 8.5, 42.5. Frisco, 1.5, 43.5. Looks like McCaffrey's playing. Green Bay, 1.5, 47.5. I don't kind of understand that line. The Rams, 3, 43.5. Baltimore, 1.5, 50.5. I don't understand that line. And Minnesota, 1.5, 43.5. So if I look at these, I like doing weak favorites, strong dogs, or even games. So I start with Carolina, Jacksonville. That's an even game. Jacksonville is a weak favorite anytime. They couldn't win a game in the SEC. So 4.5. But Carolina is so bad, but Trevor Lawrence is terrible. So again, Jacksonville is a weak favorite. The problem is they're both Z teams, and the other problem is Carolina is a weak dog. So it's not really the time to play. Washington and the Giants. Washington's a good favorite with Daniels. Anytime Daniels is on there and you got the game basically even, 6, go down to even. It's a good bet. But now you got Russell Wilson. So anytime you got him as a dog, he's a live dog. So you got counter there. Pitt, 3.38 to the Jets. I don't understand this line. Pitt should probably be 7. It is Aaron Rodgers. Remember him? And then you've got the running back from Iowa, and you've got the DK Metcalf. It's Rodgers and Metcalf. This is a different Pittsburgh team. How can this line only be 3? It's insane. The Jets aren't going to win a game this year. Oh, they have the new coach. Yeah, he sucked at Detroit. Yeah, they got Fields. Oh, yeah, he's a great quarterback. So you make up that Fields is a good quarterback. because he can run. He's not. He's a terrible quarterback. Um, Arizona, New Orleans. Arizona is a very weak road favorite here. I don't know if they're a good home favorite, but they're certainly a weak road favorite. New Orleans, probably a live home dog, not a road dog, but a home dog. Oakland's a very live dog here. New England's a very weak favorite here. Smith against Drake May. Drake May, I'm not betting on him to win a game. You going to trust him? What has he done? Geno Smith at least has been around. I don't love him, but he's the better quarterback in this game. Miami, Indy, no way. Indy's a very weak favorite here, meaning that you can't really bet on them to win. You can't count on them to win. Indy, Miami. So you've got Indy. There's no way they should be favored in this game. And then if Riley Leonard or Bean was the quarterback, I would think about it. Miami's so bad. Tua is just terrible, and they got Tyreek Hill. What a mistake Tyreek Hill did. He took the money and he left Kansas City and he left 2 or 3 Super Bowls on the table to go to one of the worst teams in the league with Tagovailoa. What was he thinking? He took the money and that was it. It's insane. Cincinnati, Cleveland. Cincinnati is a strong favorite. They're a good favorite. I don't know. I'm not buying Cleveland as a dog is any good with Joe Flacco. They might score some points, but that's what I'm looking at. Joe Burrow, he won us so much money when LSU won that he's good for years. But yeah, I trust Cindy, especially the start they had last year. Absolutely, they'll come out on fire. I like when the commentators say, "Oh well, Cincinnati, they won't do anything." Yeah, okay, sure. Tampa Bay, Atlanta. I think Atlanta's a very strong dog at home with Penix. The difference is Penix. You got Penix now. You're in every game. He's money. Tampa Bay, they might win, but they should be the dog in this game. The Niners, Seattle. The Niners. Normally, they're a good favorite. Seattle's a terrible home dog, and Seattle with Darnold, I'm not buying them at all. We'll bet against them most of the year. The Niners, if McCaffrey plays and Purdy plays, and they get some receivers, and they got some defense, it's like so many injuries for the Niners. Tennessee, Denver, Tennessee Z team last year. They're a weak dog, and Denver should be a strong favorite from what I can see. Bo Nix, very good, much better than Caleb. And just, he's getting used. You got Sean Payton there and at home with the Mile High. So Denver is a very good favorite most of the time. Houston and the Rams, this is a good game. I think Houston's a live dog here. I think the Rams are a live favorite here at home with Stafford. CJ Stroud's the difference. He's not very good. Detroit, Green Bay. I got Detroit as a 3-point favorite here, provided that Hutchinson's actually playing, which I doubt, but we'll see. Maybe he'll go out and play and won't break his leg again. We'll see. Some announcer on the radio in Detroit, obviously they listen to me. I make so much radio for him. He says, "Oh, Hutchinson, he'll break his leg and never play again." I didn't say that. He said he's not ready for a month, like Cam Rising. But I don't think he's going to come in. But Detroit, I think, is a very live dog in this game. Green Bay, I think this is a take the dog game. I depending on injuries. Green Bay, Jordan Love. I don't want to bet on Jordan Love. I don't want to bet on golf. He's terrible, but I don't really want to bet on Jordan Love. But you got the Detroit coordinators. And we remember what happened with Philly when they changed coordinators, and all of a sudden they went from the Super Bowl to the outhouse. So we got to see Detroit's coordinators. Again, not showing them in the preseason was a brilliant move by Dan Campbell. Everybody thinks he's a good coach. I don't. I think he's terrible. I don't think he's smart. I think he might be a good motivator, but I honestly don't think he's a good game coach. So I'm not sure. He made two terrible mistakes in the championship game for the Niners. They never should have lost that game with a 17-point lead going in the second half. Then it's protect the lead, but he's not smart enough to understand that. So I question his ability to coach. You've got to know what you're doing. Now, you had Hutchinson and you still lost the game. So everybody like last year is going, oh, they were injured. Yeah, they weren't injured against the Niners, and that's the point. And they screwed a 17-point lead because the coach. He doesn't get the concepts of the game. The concept is we have a lead. We have to protect it. We kick field goals to keep momentum. We don't go for it on fourth down when we're winning, and the only way we can lose is to play with our heads up our ass and go for fourth downs, not get them and give the momentum to San Francisco. I don't care what you did during the regular season, and he did what he did. I'm fine with his decision. Yeah, you're fine. You didn't go to the Super Bowl because his decisions cost you the championship game. Not that you would have beat KC, but huge mistake. So that's why I question his coaching, and now I'm questioning the coordinators. Baltimore, Buffalo. Buffalo's a very strong home team. Not so much on the road. Baltimore, I don't know. In these type of games, Baltimore will stay in it. I don't know if they should be favored. I have Buffalo 3-point favorite, but Buffalo very strong favorite at Buffalo. Baltimore is a good dog, but now they're favored. So I really question Baltimore in this. I have Buffalo 3-point favorites. And then Minnesota, Chicago, both teams are weak favorites. Chicago, I have Minnesota by 3. Strong defense. You got Jefferson. You have no quarterback. Chicago, you have no quarterback. You have a great defense. So there's two good defenses here. Chicago is a weak favorite. You can't bet on Caleb. Never. Minnesota, we'll see if we can bet on McCarthy, but I never bet on him at Michigan. I thought he was a choke there. And the only reason they won the championship, they didn't play anybody. I mean, they played a high school schedule. Then he beats Ohio State because they were terrible. The Penn State game, he didn't throw a pass in the second half because he was injured. So I doubt he even plays the full game. He'll get hurt again. I don't think he can handle the contact. He is not a guy I would have made the starting quarterback. But that shows you how weak Darnold is, because what do we talk about? All these guys are sitting there and because they have experience. Daniel Jones, Indy signs him because he's got experience. Well, here's Darnold with experience, but Minnesota's ignored that and said, well, we'll go with a guy with no experience who's not very good, wasn't very good in college, but we'll take him because we made the mistake of drafting him in the first round. So why didn't they sign Darnold if that's the scope of the league, is to sign the experienced guys? But one team who doesn't know how to draft or do anything with quarterbacks is Minnesota. You had Fran Tarkenton, will go all the way back to there. The best guy you had was Tommy Kramer, and now then you had Kirk Cousins, who's terrible, and now you got Jim McCarthy, who's terrible. So I don't know what they're doing. Darnold was a fill-in who fell in your lap, and you're letting him go. I don't know, really stupid. So again, you got very big question marks with Minnesota with their quarterback and with the Bears and Caleb. Like I Said if the Bears start Badgett instead, they can probably go 10-7. With Caleb, they may only win 1 or 2 games. Quarterback is the key position here. Check email. Okay, I will check my email, G. Oh, so you're playing the check marks. Okay. Yes. All right. You've already played that. Or no. Okay. You got that. Yeah, you got that. Yeah, well, that's the other. All right. Well, that's it. You already got Philadelphia in. Surprised you didn't play the other lock in this one. I mean, it's a good play. Um, anyway, so that's what we have. So when you look at a game, you pick your own score, and then you good. Um, well, I'd stick to the 2 team. You got the lock yesterday, which you didn't play with one of the ones today, I guess. So you could play the 3-team lock, or you could play or the 3 locks. But I would still play 2-teamers. You want to win, but I don't know what the odds are for this. If they're 11-10 or 12-10, so maybe you play a 3-teamer. I know the sports books are fucking around with the odds, and it's terrible. But I mean, again, yeah, I mean, you're going to play all 3 teams. So what I've done is I play them in bigger and 2-team teasers, and then I would play a 3 or 4-team teaser. Like all the locks, there's 4 locks. I put in 1 teaser, but I don't play it for that much because again, it's hard to win 4. But I do get some odds. So yeah, I mean, you're fine with that. But I like that the Philadelphia teaser. That was my other one that I played pretty heavily, was that non-lock one. So you're trying to figure out the teams, and you've honestly got to figure out the quarterback. That's what I do so well. I tell you Field sucks. I tell you CJ Stroud sucks. But everybody says how good CJ Stroud is. He's not. He went to Ohio State. Remember that? Just like Steve Young went to Alabama. So you've got to be able to read it. Why do we like Joe Burrow so much? Because he wins. That's why we like Mahomes. That's why we like Stafford or some of these others. I'm not going to bet Drake May to beat the Oakland today. Now, I don't know if I can bet Geno Smith, but I do like Chip Kelly and Coach Pete. And I do like the fact they added Gentry and Brock Bowers. So they're adding stars to their list. And it's funny, everybody thinks the Lions GM is so good. What did he do? He drafted a couple of guys from Alabama that they weren't the best. The running back and the receiver, they were just fast. They weren't much at Alabama. I would never have drafted them in the first round. But they only work because you've got a good offensive line and you're moving them around. Now, the question is, the center retired. Well, he didn't replace the center. He needs defensive help. He didn't draft defensive help. The guy from Ohio State sucks. The defensive end, because I watched him against Michigan. I watched him in the playoff game. He didn't do anything. He just stood there and they just locked him away, and that's a bust. So he doesn't even know really what he's doing. He just, I'll take a guy from Alabama and then look how smart I am. Bullshit. And he did not draft what was it, Arnold for the Rams. And I know, and the best thing he did was he got Stafford, but that was Sean McVay doing that. So I don't know. I don't see what he does. He's all that great. I mean, he got a good line, and then he got decent running backs, but I don't know. 115. Well, yeah, then yeah, that's a good odds. You're getting point. You're going to play all three anyway, so that's good. So you got to watch like Russell Wilson on the Giants. How is he going to be? I saw a commercial with Danny DeVito, the quarterback from the Giants, in it, and he kind of comes in because the guy can't take a picture, and then we'll call in our substitute, Danny DeVito, but she screws the name up and calls him Bobby DeVito or whatever, and it's just pretty funny, but you gotta be careful. So let's see, Young sucks and Lawrence sucks, so we know that. We've got Wilson against Daniels. Now that's a pretty good. Russell Wilson is good. Washington does not have a great defense. That's what's holding them back for the Super Bowl, is getting more defensive players. Rodgers and Fields is not even an NFL quarterback. Rodgers is Hall of Famer. Kyler Murray and Rattler. We keep waiting for Kyler Murray to be Kyler Murray, but that was at Oklahoma when he ran a lot. It was a gimmick offense. That's why I warn you about a lot of these guys. It's a gimmick offense. Miami's now a gimmick offense. Fields is terrible. Murray and Rattler stinks. He stunk at Oklahoma and he's stuck at South Carolina. And all of a sudden he's going to do good in the pros. Geno Smith against Drake May. Why are you betting Drake May? What did you see in Drake May that he's going to win you money? That you can bet on him and he's going to win? I don't buy it. Geno Smith, he's won some money for us, but he's got Brock Bowers, and he's got Gentry, so it's more the balanced offense. But it's Coach Pete you're betting on, and Chip Kelly you're betting on. Tagliabue and Daniel Jones, I wouldn't bet on either of those. Joe Burrow and Flacco, I bet on Burrow. Baker Mayfield and Penix, I would definitely bet on both of those. Purdy and Darnold, I can bet on Purdy. I can't bet on Darnold. Cam Ward against Knicks, I would bet on Knicks. Never Cam Ward. And Stroud and Stafford. Stafford, I would bet on, not Stroud. Golf and Love, 2 chokes. Lamar and Allen, regular season, okay. Playoffs, chokes. And J.J. McCarthy, Caleb, I couldn't bet on either of those. Never bet on either of those. So you got a lot of – you're trying to learn what the team is. Then you get all the news and all the hype. Oh, he's really good. And it's bullshit. J.J. McCarthy's he's terrible. I watched him at Michigan for 2 years. He didn't do anything. The only reason they won the title is their schedule was a bunch of high school games. He didn't do anything. And then against Washington, he handed the ball off, and they ran for 4 touchdowns at 40 yards. He didn't throw for 300 yards and get the win like Penix tried to do. So you gotta keep your eye on that. So you're always trying to understand the team right now. So week one's a little bit hard because it's week one, right? And these idiots don't play in the preseason, except for Cincinnati did with Burrow, Mahomes at all, and you saw how bad Mahomes looked. I was surprised San Diego did so much. And Philly and Dallas looked terrible. Um, and again, the Jalen Carter incident, what the fuck was that? You telling me that wasn't planned? And by the way, they only won by 4, laying, what were they, laying 8 at the end? And you're telling me what, that he just goes and spits and the ref doesn't separate him? His own team just watches him do that? Are you serious? That was so planned. That's ridiculous. This is the problem with football. It's well, we all know it's fixed, but that's where the teasers help them. They don't really fix the teasers. They fix the game. So like today, let's see, Arizona 6.5 over New Orleans. Well, they'll fix the game. Arizona win by 3, but in a teaser, Arizona even will win. But in a fix, they won't cover the 6. They're only worried about the 6.5 in a straight bet. That's what they fix. So that's why we're okay with teasers, because we can lose. They can win the game by 3 is okay. They just can't, even though they're laying 6.5, and that's really the whole key to it. So anyway, keep your eye on that. But don't listen. Fields sucks. Drake May sucks. Tua sucks. They're not getting any better. Daniel Jones, are you fucking kidding me? What is he doing in the league? And this is what you got to be careful on. And then as the season progresses, you just start betting against them. That's all you can do. That's what we do in college. We find our bitches and we bet against them. Our Z teams, UMass, and then we're like, oh, look at Temple. They scored 40 some points in the first 2 games. They're not great. I mean, they got a tough game this week, but you start learning them, and it's always the coach and the quarterback. That's why we were so adamant about the quarterback. That's where you make your money. But if he sucks in college, he's not going to be good in pros. Aiden O'Connell from Purdue, who sucked. So why do you have him? Why do you think he's going to do good in the pros? And why do you want a guy on your team who stinks? I guess he's cheap. I guess you pay the starting quarterback $40 million and the backup quarterback $1 million. That's a problem there. I don't know. Why would the Lions give Jared Goff $40 million? What a huge mistake that was. He's not worth. I don't think any of them are worth that much money. Now, the fact we know the money's not worth that much is the other question. But that's really it. So 1209. All right. So again, I've got 3 locks going today. I've got your free pick was Philadelphia, which won. Your free pick yesterday was Kansas plus 12.5, which won. So I'm on a nice little run. Anything in gold. So gold finished at 36. So we watched Mark McGuire. I showed it Friday. The war, they won't end the war in Russia. I don't know what they're keeping it. Why is the defense contractors running the U.S.? Basically running the world. So you can make money on it, on the stocks, I guess. And the key thing over and over, I keep repeating and I keep saying, is most of the people don't understand the dollar's worthless. So they're all trying to make money with the defense contractor stocks or with Bitcoin or with real estate. We'll make money with real estate. What they don't understand is this isn't worth anything. This is the first problem. They don't get that you can make money on this, but it's still not worth anything. I don't. Why is this such a hard concept? And yet nobody. I guess it's that mob video we watched where if Trump says everything's okay and inflation's down, everybody believes him without asking the question. They just believe him. But that's not what I do. I don't just believe him. So you have that going on where the money's not worth anything. The inflation's much, much higher than 2 or 3%. Gold is the only answer. It's the only lifeboat, and silver. And why do people not think silver is money? I got a lot of silver that says $1 on it. What the fuck is that? That's money. So I don't really understand that. Silver is money. And then they say, well, it's not priced as money. Well, because COMEX has been keeping the price down. It's not a free market price. Hello. And then Egon saying how volatile it is. It's not volatile if it was free market. Just like this. This is not volatile, right? This sells for, let's say it's $100 a bottle because it's 12 years old in 1997. This would go for $100. It's not going to go for 20 tomorrow. It's going to be 100. It's going to stay at 100. So I really don't get that, but that's what you're looking at. The Mantle card, it's 80 grand. It's still 80 grand. It doesn't move. The real assets don't move. They keep their value. So silver's not going to dive. It just, the COMEX, which is the price fixing mechanism. So it's just strange they don't get that. But COMEX is ending, as I tried to put in my title the other day. COMEX just can't because it's worldwide now. Nobody wants their gold and silver to drop because everybody's broke. So they need a higher gold and silver price. So this is the question I have. We have gold. We don't have gold. If we had gold, we might have gold in Fort Knox, but it's not our gold. It's China's gold. We sold it to China. That's what you have. So you don't have gold in China. You don't have gold in Fort Knox. That's the U.S.'s. There might be gold in there, but I keep hating when people will say how much gold there is, and well, there's 8,000 tons in the U.S., even though we have no idea. And then there's 2,000 in China, and I'm like, okay, I can't. I was listening to some guy, and I tuned it off, gave him a thumbs down, and just told him he was an idiot. No, they got 70,000 tons because why are you only counting the central bank? Is there no other banks or pension funds or citizens that can buy gold? Only the central bank? How stupid are these people? So China's got 70,000 and India's got 30,000 and Saudi Arabia and Dubai and Russia probably in the 20,000s. And you want to say they have 2,000? And you think they're going to tell you what they have, and you think they're just going to go, this is central bank buying? Well, who cares about central bank buying? We don't care about that. We're looking at the whole picture. That's the point. You're looking at the whole picture, and all these countries have bought a lot more, and it's not just central bank. So again, what happened to the Fort Knox audit? We're supposed to have a Fort Knox audit. It's gone. I heard Tesla's bankrupt, which I told you about before, that it didn't have any value at all. Elon Musk is just a clown. And I don't know what happened with him and Trump, but Elon Musk he's not very intelligent at all. He's done things, but it's all with government contracts. He doesn't have anything with the free market. Nobody in their right mind buys a Tesla unless you're getting a kickback and whatever. But why would you buy a Tesla? Why would you buy an electronic car that I'm going up north? It's 3.5 hours. If I had an electric car, where would I fill up? Because there's stretches where there's just woods for miles. Then I finally get it. So at least if my car's full, I know I can get there. if it's electric. And then even when I go through these little towns, I don't know there's a charging station. It's just it's a terrible concept that is not done by the market. We'll make electric cars. Nobody wants. I guess there's this like Johnny Cab, like in Total Recall, when Schwarzenegger gets into the Johnny Cab and the guy's a robot saying, "Where do you want to go?" And like, just drive. Let's get out of here. And I would not want to have I want to drive or have a driver. I don't want to have a robot driving me. Yeah, that's the disaster waiting for happen. AI, I don't. AI, they're using to spy on us. I was watching this thing on the airport. So there's a few things on the airport when you travel. It's sort of like you can only have one or two carry-ons, or like a purse in a duffel in a backpack, but you can't have three things and all this stuff. And it's the airlines are going broke because they're pissing everybody off. I was going to go to Vegas, but I would have had to pay $55 one way, so $110 more just to bring my duffel bag or my gym bag so I could have clothes for a few days. Well, you can't a la carte it. Just put it in as your ticket. How much is your ticket? Which includes me carrying luggage on in the overhead bin. That's bullshit. So they Spirit did that. Now they're Chapter 11 again because you can't fuck with people. I was at Walmart the other day, and I bought something, and all of a sudden there's 2 sales tax on it. There was the regular 6% Michigan sales tax, and there was another 6% sales tax. And I asked him, why am I being taxed twice? And he said something about prepaid. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Well, it was a prepaid phone. And what are you talking about? Prepaid? Why would I pay sales tax on that? It's probably the tariffs, but I don't want to hear it. Just mark your things the way they are and charge me for it. Don't give me these bullshit fees. So Vegas, they're going bankrupt. Again, they're doing the same thing. You see it all over. You see Vegas charging all these extra fees that nobody wants to pay, and all you're going to do is piss people off because they don't want to pay them. They don't want to feel misused, right? It's fair trade, as I explained. It's not a fair trade if I go to Vegas and I have to pay $45 for parking and $100 to watch the football game in the sports book, and more for food and more for drink and more for hotels. And then let's add a resort fee on it. That's not a fair trade to me. Fair trade to me is, what is your hotel? $50. That's what I'm paying. Well, it's not really 50. It's 50 plus resort fee. It's really 100. Well, that's not a fair trade. I'm not interested in that. So that's your biggest problem. Charging for parking is just stupidity. You're keeping people out of your casino. Who's running this? Then, it's like, well, if I go watch the football game or I go play poker, like Caesars just took the poker room out. What are they, out of their fucking minds? I go to play poker. I'm going to eat. I'm going to drink. I'm going to shop. I'm going to bet football. By not letting me in, I don't do any of that there. So I'm going to go to another place to do that. And I like how they're like, oh, well, you can bet on the app. Betting on the app and going to Caesar's Palace is two different things. They're not even resembling. They're not even close in what they're resembling. It's just difficult to watch that. But that's what pisses people off. It's like anything. It's the extra charges. It's like going to a restaurant and, you want raisin toast? This happened to me. Oh, well, okay. Then it's $2 extra because the waitress doesn't tell you. She says, I said, can I substitute wheat bread for raisin bread? She says, yeah, but that substitute means exchange it, not there's a $2 charge. So then she doesn't tell you there's a $2 charge. Well, then you don't get a $2 tip. There's your tip just went to raisin bread because you're an asshole for not telling me that not understanding what a substitute is. So it's all these fair trades that everybody wants to get what they're charged for. That's the whole thing to it. Get what you're paying for. Anyway, so you have all these problems with the war. You have all these problems with Trump won't give up on the war. All he has to do is stop giving Ukraine. Why are and they keep giving Ukraine? It's like it's the stupidest thing. They lost. The war is over. Russia won. Russia won big. There's no way you're going to beat Russia. I think the biggest problem of the war is because Russia's on the gold standard and BRICS is on the gold standard. And that's why the wars are going on, because they couldn't do a Saddam Hussein and Gaddafi, where they try to introduce a gold standard and they kill them. Well, they can't do it to Putin and Xi, although they tried to do it to Putin and then Xi, but they have too much security. So because they're going gold standard, they are now, because they're going gold standard, they're now, the U.S. can't compete with gold, and the U.S. doesn't want to lose their Ponzi scheme of the money. We'll just print more money and everything, and that's the problem. So anyway, keep that in your mind. Gold will just keep going because now it's broken kind of COMEX and the Basel III, where they have to cover these options, and I just feel that that's going to end. I feel that the options will end. Because there's too many people that want a real gold, physical gold and silver price. And no, silver is money. So I don't know why people say it's an industrial metal, because we use it in solar panels and in Tomahawk missiles. Well, we use it in that, but it is money. It's like saying Shotani is a pitcher, but he's also a hitter. Yeah, he does both. So does silver. So that's what kind of is going on here. Anyway, I think that's about it. So good luck with your games today. I got 3 locks going if you want them. www.teaserking.com. Look for gold to hit. It hit 3,600 Friday. Push back to like 3,590. Look for a 3,700 and then 3,800 and 3,900. It'll just keep running because the demand's huge, because you have to have it and you don't care what the price is. It's one of those things. It doesn't matter. I have to have gold. Now I might get 1/4 ounce gold, and I might get 1/10 of an ounce gold, and I might get ounces of silver, but silver is money. And they're not going to confiscate it. Ray Dalio, more like Ray Dildo. It's not. You're not going to confiscate. They didn't confiscate it in the 1930s. They went to the bank, and you kept your money in the bank at that time. So you kept your gold in the bank, not at home. We didn't have safes and stuff. So anyway, so because of that, they went to the banks and took it. They didn't go into your house. They're not going to do it now. And a lot of people probably didn't give them the gold. If I had gold in my house, I had never given it to them. But this is a whole different time. We're on the gold standard back then. We're not on the gold standard now. If they're going to take money, they're going to take Bitcoin and the stable coin bullshit. Don't get involved with digital money. It's not real. Well, look at Bitcoin's 100,000. Bitcoin's not 100,000 what? 100,000 monopoly money. It's just so they can raise tax revenue. It's all bullshit. So keep that in mind. Just be careful with it. Your key is this isn't worth anything. And if this isn't worth anything, then you want to go and buy, you need to buy gold and silver. Does it make sense if you make 50,000 in stocks, but you're still in this money? Does the 50,000, is it real? So why do you want 50,000 in this? you can make 50,000, but this isn't real money. This isn't worth anything. It has no value. So you can make 50,000 in it, but you're better off making 50,000 in gold. I did an analysis. Gold's up like $600 this year. So if you had 100 um, ounces, you would have made $60,000 in gold, which is not taxed, which is clear and free. There's no interest income, and it's just you got your 100 ounces of gold, and and then it's just you see it, but it's still 100 ounces, but it's worth more. And most things like your stocks or your money in the bank, you see the balance grow, but you unless you do a spreadsheet like I do, you still have the 100 ounces of gold, so you don't really see the value go up, but it's now worth a lot more. So it was like I know it was like 2,800 when I met Jenna last October in Italy, and now it's 3,600. So it's gone up $800 in less than a year, right? And again, it was kind of held back in the summer; it didn't move at all. But look for it to go. Look for Russia. Again, they're trying to keep the war going, which I've never seen. They try to kill people and the war. And Jenna tells me all the bombing going on in Odessa and all this stuff. They keep bombing and bombing every night. It's insanity. Um, I can't believe it's 2025, going to be 2026, and we got a war that's been going on for almost 4 years. It's just really ridiculous. So anyway, be careful with that. But yeah, just be smart. Just buy gold and silver, because even if you make 100,000 in monopoly money, if I make 100,000 in this, it's not real. Doesn't have a value. Why doesn't it have a value? Because they printed it to death. And if you printed it to death, there's no value in it. It's not worth. What they've done is, and this is why all the fiat currencies always fail, is the government eventually keeps printing and they keep giving handouts, and they got to pay for pensions and social security because they're too stupid to let the, the people just keep their money. And they just use the money, but they'll print it to nothing. And that's what happens. And that's why gold keeps its value, because gold can't be printed, right? It's whatever you get out of the ground, and that's it. And there's only so much in the ground, and most of it's been dug up by now. And so therefore you don't have that much left, but it can't be printed. So this is how much we have. You dig it out of the ground, which even if you found a gold mine tomorrow, it takes 10 years to get it out of the ground. And by then all the gold would be absorbed as you're getting it. So keep that in mind. Gold can't be inflated because you can't print it. So when you run the printing presses, you've just printed way too much money, which kills the value of it. So that's really why you're getting out of the dollar. And that's why you go into gold. And that's why it doesn't make sense to be in stocks or Bitcoin. Anything priced in dollars goes to zero. I was watching this real estate thing about real estate is a real estate a good investment when we're going through inflation? And no, it's not, because the value of the house goes to zero because it's priced in dollars. Now it does go to a value in gold, but in dollars, the house goes to zero. So is this a good investment? Well, if you buy the house at $10,000, yeah, it'll probably go to 100. But if now the prices are so high, because what's happening with the housing market is people have bought it as if it's an investment. Like, you're buying a mantle card. Oh, I'll buy them, two of them. I'll buy five. I'll buy Tom Brady cards. I'll buy Jordans. And that's the problem, is you're buying all these. So they're doing it in houses. Oh, I'm going to buy 5 houses. Well, they're not easy to sell, especially now. The interest rates are getting higher, and nobody can afford them. So you're over market. And that's what ends up happening is you go over market. That's where we are now. People will pay this much for a house, but the price shot up and then the interest rate. So there's nobody home. So unless you bring your price down, you're not going to be able to sell it. And so therefore it makes people not want to sell it. And people that bought 5 of them as an investment, it's not an investment. So just be careful with that. Real assets are investments. Just buy mantle cards, Tom Brady rookies, something like that. Just you can't go wrong with those. All right, I guess that's it. www.teaserking.com. Good luck on your football today. Another big game, big play yesterday. We were 8-1, so we're now 19-2 in 2 weeks, and we're 2-0 in pros, hitting Philadelphia and KC under. And now we will go from there, and we'll see what we do today. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, I believe 10 plays. Now, not all of them. Some are small. The bigger locks I have bigger, the 3 locks. That's how you got to bet teasers. You can't bet the same amount on 6 teasers. And then you're going to win 3 and lose 3, and you're going to lose juice. So the best thing is when you get the big games, like Philadelphia or Kansas yesterday, you put them in. I had Kansas in 2 teasers. That's the only way you can really bet them. You have to take advantage of that. Well, with the 6 points, we can find the games, and they're not fixed. They're fixed straight, but not in the teaser. All right. Anything else? Questions, comments? All right. Well, good luck today. And let's get that gold up to 3,700 soon. Silver, get into the 50s. It's going to run, it's going to have some pushback, but that'll go away because there's too much demand. And really, you've got to be nuts to be pushing back on it. So keep that in mind. So we'll keep an eye on that. All right, www.teaserking.com. Have a good day, everybody. Good luck on your games. All right, enjoy.